GOP that it's in the oven baking and it should be ready in 45 minutes to an hour.
Do we have, is David?
That's what we have seen in the early
205.
Dr. Natalie's, I'm sure, right on top of it.
With 78% of votes in Fulton County, for its state total of 66% of votes, and Trump is up by 5 in Georgia.
I'll play. We're gonna get
Lunchtime in Central.
Hello guys, I'm with Nicholas and we are in Central. It's a very nice place to have lunch, to have a breakfast at the Hong Kong Club, and it's a good day. Hi Nicholas, how are you?
Hi Mark, good to be with you as always.
Let's walk a bit around and well, today is election day. Well, technically we are on the 6th, but we're still the 5th of November in the US, and we just had a nice breakfast, election night breakfast, right? Organized by Nicholas and who else?
Some friends.
Our friends. And well, we started at 7:30 a.m. until now. What time is it now? 11:30 already?
Yeah, just after 11:30.
Wow, it's been a while. And what's your mindset, Nicholas?
I think it's a very good day for America, hopefully. The results look very promising. It looks like President Trump will come back as the 47th president, and Kamala Harris will lose.
Yeah. How sure are we? I just saw someone told me like we are about, in the campaign, we are 95% sure Trump is gonna win, and some media like the New York Times are saying like okay, they're predicting a win for Donald Trump. Do you think like we can have a surprise, a bad surprise?
I think it's very unlikely because we know from the reporting that in the last couple of weeks leading up to today, the Democrat advisors and strategists were all very pessimistic. They were openly saying that they thought they were in real difficulty, and in terms of the early vote numbers and turnout numbers, their supporters are not showing up to the same extent they did 4 years ago. And the official margin 4 years ago was, very tiny, like, about 10,000 votes in Arizona and Georgia. With both of those, it looks like Trump will win comfortably this time.
So you think it will be comfortable win, like a landslide win?
Well, I think it really comes down to those 3 blue wall states in the Midwest: Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. And if Trump only has to win one of those to win the presidency, whereas Harris has to win all 3 of them. So that's difficult for her in the current circumstances when the country is not doing well, people are unhappy, the world has become a less safe, less stable place. There's 2 major wars going on, inflation is a real problem. So those macro indicators are not very good for an incumbent. And you can see in the numbers too that historically Democrats do very well in early votes and postal votes, and Republicans do better in the in-person voting on the election day
How
itself.
is that possible? Do you think that's fraud, or how can you explain this?
Well, there are historic trends, but it's true that postal voting in particular is very vulnerable to manipulation, and that's why a lot of countries like France and others have banned it, or they have restrictions. And there's been many, many instances where problems have been found with postal votes being reported to be submitted by people who say they actually didn't, or accepting votes without postmarks or dates on them to indicate whether they're actually submitted before the election or after. So it's more difficult to verify than an in-person vote. I think it would be a lot simpler if we all voted on the same day in person on a piece of paper. It would be a much less complicated process. India has a population of 1.5 billion people, the biggest country in the world, and they have national elections and they know the result the same day, and they count paper ballots. So why can't America do the same? And Florida is the 3rd biggest state in the country. They've already counted like 95% of the votes and they know what the result is. So why is it that you have smaller states like Nevada or Wisconsin or places like this saying that, oh, maybe it will take another week or 2 weeks to count the vote? It shouldn't take that long. They should have figured out a better system by now.
It should take a few hours only, almost instant. Okay. But let's say, okay, Trump wins. What does it change for America, for the world, and also for us? Like, you're not American, I'm not American. you are not from Hong Kong, I'm not from Hong Kong. Like we live here, both of us are expats. We are foreigners in Hong Kong. We follow American elections. From your point of view, what does it change for us in Hong Kong and for the world as well? Right?
Well, I think the most important thing it will do is it will give America much stronger leadership, because for the last 4 years, Biden has officially been the president. We all know he actually hasn't been making the decisions because he's non compos mentis. He's not, cognitively capable of really doing anything, and that's why he imploded so badly in the debate. He was much too old to run for election last time. They got rid of him this time because that problem got even worse.
It took some time, right? He was really running, and he was forced out.
The media covered it up. For 4 years they were telling us there's nothing wrong, and even just days before the debate, you had all the apologists on MSNBC and the traditional media networks saying, Joe Biden is as cognitively sharp and intelligent and alert as he's ever been. I think Morning Joe said he was the most alert version of Biden he'd ever seen in his 40-year political career, or however long he's been, in Congress since the Jurassic era or something like that. But we all saw during the debate that was a lie. I think for a lot of people, they realised that you can't trust everything the media says at face value, but you've actually got to go and consider a variety of sources and look at the evidence and the data yourself and make up your own mind, because nobody can honestly say that they think Joe Biden is making decisions with the mental state that he's in. So who is it? I mean, he's still the president today and will be until the 20th of January. And I think the rest of the world knows that nobody's at home really in the White House, so they take advantage of the power vacuum. That's why Hamas thought it would be a good idea to start a war on Israel. It's why the Houthis in Yemen are running riot, targeting shipping in the Red Sea. It's why Russia went into the Ukraine, because they thought, nothing bad will happen. Biden ran away from Afghanistan and humiliated the nation with those tragic scenes of people, clinging off the wings of the aeroplane trying to escape with it because they knew the Taliban were coming. And Biden left behind like tens of billions of dollars worth of military equipment that the Taliban now have, modern US equipment, and maybe they sold some of it to the Russians or to Hamas or whoever, and now they're using it elsewhere. That was a disaster. So people see weakness and they take advantage, and I think that's what has happened over the last 4 years. Whereas I think they know that Trump is not going to be the sort of president who would let that happen. He actually would, react quite viciously if something like that happened on his watch. So I think deterrence is an important principle. That's why when he says peace through strength, I think that's actually logically true. It's consistent with the reality of, global politics, that power does matter, the willingness to use it. Trump is much more willing, I think, to threaten to use it, and therefore will get what he wants without actually having to do anything, whereas Biden is not taken seriously by anyone.
One of the best ways to achieve peace is to be ready for war.
Exactly. If you have a strong military, then nobody will mess with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you'll never need to use it. But if you let it become weak, people will try and take advantage.
So the Democrats have made America weak, and therefore there's some wars in the world. So actually, Trump is the president for peace. That's why we are impacted everywhere, especially also in Asia. Okay. So what's next? Are we going to celebrate next few days? Are we doing some events soon? Because actually, you and me and a few friends, we are building up a community of conservatives in Hong Kong, right? So how do you see that coming? Should we organize more dinners, some events, so we can make more friends, make the group grow?
I think that would be a very good idea, and I hope we can do that.
Yeah, so thank you, Nicholas. Guys, if you're interested, contact me, and let's catch up with Nicholas and everyone else and make the group grow in Hong Kong. Take care, guys. Thanks,
Cheers.
Nicholas.
Bye.